Hello, everyone. It's lovely to see you again. I hope you've all had a good week. I wonder if you remember from the story last week what animal we saw in the story. Do you remember what it was? That's right, it was a camel, wasn't it? And we heard the camel and the camel bells. Well, I wanted to show you something interesting that I remembered that I'd got. I didn't think about it last week, and that's these bells. Hold them up like this. And they are real camel bells. They would have hung on a camel, and they make a lovely noise. And they would have been just like the bells that Joseph's brothers heard when they heard the camels in the distance. Isn't that amazing? Well, I wonder what happened to Joseph next. We left him going across the desert, didn't we, with the camels and the camel traders. So here's Mary to tell us the story.
Hello. I hope you're ready for the next part of the story about Joseph that comes from the Old Testament part of the Bible. Now, last time we met Joseph and we met his father, Jacob, and his 11 brothers, and we found out that Jacob's favourite son was Joseph, and he got rather spoilt, and the other brothers didn't like that at all, and they sold him, and he was taken away to Egypt to be a slave. Well, when Joseph got to Egypt, he was sold to a man who was a soldier in the king's army. And his name was Potiphar. And Potiphar asked Joseph, well, didn't ask, he told him to do all sorts of jobs for him in his house and in his garden and in his fields on his farm. And Joseph did everything that Potiphar asked him. Without complaining, without arguing, he did everything as well as he possibly could. I think Joseph had learnt his lesson about being selfish. Potiphar was really, really pleased with Joseph because he had found such a reliable, hard-working slave. And he gave him more and more responsibility. He trusted him with everything. But I'm afraid that Potiphar's wife was not the same sort of person. Oh yes, she wanted Joseph to do everything that she wanted too. But one day she asked Joseph to do something which was not good, something she shouldn't have asked him to do. And Joseph said, "No, I'm not doing that." And she went on and on at him, and he still said, "No, I'm not going to do that. That's the wrong thing to do." And Potiphar's wife was furious with Joseph. So what she did was she told lies about Joseph and got him put into prison. Poor Joseph, he hadn't done anything wrong, but there he was in prison. But even in prison, Joseph continued to behave very well, work very hard, do everything he was told to do. And the man in charge of the prison realised that Joseph was a really trustworthy person. And he put Joseph in charge of all the other prisoners. And the other prisoners respected him. One of the other prisoners had been the wine servant of the king. That meant that he was in charge of everything that the king drank. They became quite friendly, and one morning the wine server said to Joseph, "Oh, I had the most bizarre dream last night. I have no idea what it means." Joseph said, "Well, tell me about it. And I think God gives me understanding of dreams. Maybe I can help you understand what it means." "Well," the wine servant told Joseph, "this is what happened in my dream. I dreamt that there were 3 bunches of grapes growing on a vine. And I reached out and I squeezed each of the bunches of grapes, and the juice went into the king's wine cup. What's all that about? Well, Joseph had a think, and maybe he asked God too. And he said, what I think that means is that in 3 days' time, you are going to be released and you're going to go back to your job working for the king as the wine server. That would be great, said the wine server. And they waited 3 days. And that's exactly what happened. After 3 days, the king sent a message saying, release my wine server. I want him to come back and work for me. Just as he was leaving, Joseph called out, hey, don't forget me. Remember, I didn't do anything wrong either. I shouldn't be here either. Please, can you put in a good word with the king for me so that I can be released too? Oh, yeah, said the wine server as he went. Don't worry, I'll never forget you. I'll tell the king all about you, and you will be released. And off he went. Well, that's where we're going to leave the story for today. But it's looking good, isn't it? It's looking as if Joseph is going to be released and everything's going to be fine. You'll find out next time. Joseph's life is very up and down, isn't it? Sometimes it seems really good and then sometimes it seems really bad. And our lives can be a bit like that as well. Sometimes better than others. Last time, some of us cut out a shiny star or made 2 triangles into a star to help us to remember that God has a plan for our lives and we need to do our bit in that plan. Like Joseph was really hard working, even though he was a slave and even when he was in prison, he did the right thing. So I'm going to suggest that we ask God to help us to do that too. If you've got your star, you can put it between your hands, but if not, you can just put your hands together to help us concentrate. And if you agree with what I say, you can say Amen at the end. Dear God, I know you have a plan for my life, a good plan. Please help me to do my best, to work hard and do the things that are right so that your plan can be carried out. Please help me, especially when things don't feel as if they're going very well. I know you are with me and you will help me. Thank you. Amen. And I thought it might be nice to make something to help us remember the story. I went somewhere and I had a drink in this cup. Not a posh cup like the king's cup, is it? But I brought it home because I didn't want it just to be put in the rubbish after it had been used just once. And I started to make it into a rather posh cup. So all I did was I got some pieces of coloured paper and my glue stick, and I put some glue on the outside of the cup, and then I've got a piece of paper, or you could use stickers, whatever you've got, and stick it onto, oh, that's not very good, is it? I need a green piece there, not too much pink together, and stick it on, and eventually I'll cover it all around and I'll have a very nice cup to have my drink from. Or maybe you'll do that. And next time we'll find out what happens to Joseph as the story continues. See you soon. Bye.
Well, thank you, Mary, for telling us the story this week. That was great, but poor Joseph, stuck in prison for something he didn't do. That's really sad, isn't it? But hopefully things will get better for him. But we'll have to wait till next week to find out what does happen. So we'll be back again next week with the next part of the story. So hope you all have a great time until then, and we'll see you soon. So bye.